Do not attempt to adjust your dial. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. It's your boy Big Vern. This is App Stupid, the fastest growing sports and entertainment show on these YouTube streets. You're welcome. Holla at us. Beautiful Wednesday again. It's so nice you gotta say it twice. It's your boy Big Vern. App Stupid Studios. App like you got some sense. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We just got done talking about Matt Rule and what's going on at Nebraska, how losing by single digits has been the norm. Also, going back 10 years and a decade, the winningest coach in Nebraska has been Bo Pelini. So do what you will with that. The good folks in Lincoln. We talked some Penny Hardaway. He's retooling in Memphis. Is this going to be enough in the AAC? Florida State and the ACC are in court. The judges are trying to get them to squash the beef. However, the ACC is saying, hey, look, you owe us not only for your media rights, but you also have an exit fee of $500 million. The ACC is actually in court with FSU and Clemson in two different states. So we'll see how that goes. Now, we're going to talk about J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, he was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, and troubling news, he's got to undergo knee surgery for a torn meniscus. And it's, at this point, they don't know when he's going to for a torn meniscus in his right knee. The procedure will sideline him for an undetermined amount of time, and that just really sucks ass. You know, him being the National Football College champion and a top 10 NFL draft pick, and now this. You gotta feel for the kid to sacrifice that much for the childhood dream, and then you get on that stage and boom. It's just sad. But the difference between a torn meniscus and a meniscus trim, that's two different things. And I didn't know that. I really had no idea what a meniscus trim is, and it has two different recovery times. And we'll get into that when we come back from a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. Yes, McDonald's. I'm loving it. Download the app, order online, or visit the good folks at your local McDonald's. McDonald's. I'm loving it. So when we last left off, we were talking about the difference between a meniscus tear and a meniscus trim. Now, if it's a trim, then he could be out a few weeks. But if it's a repair, McCarthy would be out a few months. And for his sake, I hope it's the first and not the latter, because the speed of the NFL is different from college, and he has to get those quality snaps in order to get comfortable with his receivers. He's got to understand his reads and properly go through his progressions. You can't get that if you're injured and you're out for a year. And that is the truth, that the NFL is a very fast-paced moving game. And sometimes that decision-making has to be split second. So some of the things that you are carrying over from college into the pro game, that could be detrimental. But again, you got to feel for this kid because of no fault of his own, he was just out there running and playing. Then I guess the Vikings, they got tipped off on Monday when he came into the facility and he was talking about having pain in his right knee. And they held him out of practice. It wasn't something where, you know, McCarthy was like, hey, look, I can't go. I'm sore. Everybody's sore. This is preseason. You know, we've been through camp. Now we're, starting to trim the roster down. Week by week, you're starting to go ahead and see who the starters are going to be. You're starting to get a feel for who the subs are going to be. And so, it's going to get rough and tough at times because guys are fighting to make a team. They're trying to go ahead and get salaries for the year, leave it all out there on the field. And so when you come to practice and him being a very valuable piece, he's talking about his discomfort, then of course they're not going to go ahead and jeopardize their future by sticking him back out on the field. And deservedly so. They're not going to take that chance. Now, head coach Kevin McConnell, he said that McCarthy had some kind of routine soreness that a lot of guys have after their first preseason game. Sometimes you come in with it, and then something that they were not willing to go ahead and roll the dice with. And they were just going to be smart about it. And credit to him, because a lot of people will sacrifice a quarterback against their own judgment. It's kind of like RG3. If people go back and they remember, Robert Griffin III really had the Washington Commanders. We all know what their name used to be. But you go back and you look at that season, he was really lighting it up. He had a lot of things going right in Washington. He shouldn't have been playing because he had a hurt leg. He shouldn't have been playing. He had a hurt leg. He should have shut it down. However, the powers to be put him out there. And he got hurt. And he never recovered from that. Do your research. If RG3 doesn't get hurt in that Seahawks game, the Seahawks don't win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you 100% facts. He got hurt in that game, and it changed the trajectory of not only the Washington Commanders, but it also changed the trajectory of his career. And they were in that game until he got hurt, and he shouldn't have been out there to begin with. But again, they never criticized the coach. They never criticized the owners, the GMs, the owner class. It was, get out there and suck it up. But credit to Coach McConnell. He was just like, I'm not going to go ahead and jeopardize our future for another preseason game. Shout out to him. Give me a quick 20 from a rap album we're reporting and promoting this month. This is Big Vern at App Stupid. Drop the spot.
Yo, this is Big Vern, and it's our hip-hop pick of the month. We got God's Timing by Graph and 38 Special. Love the album. Fight for Love with Method Man, Rockefeller Chain Freeway. Love it. Take Risk with Vado, Dre Island, Glory, Remember Who You Are with Jim Jones, and Bulletproof. In stores now. God's Timing.
Yeah, God's Timing. Shout out to Graph and 38 Special. Make sure you go ahead and cop the album. It's one of our great picks this month. When we last left off, we were talking about Coach McConnell and how he held out J.J. McCarthy because of pain in his right knee. And you all know I'm no fan of the team doctor because he's not your doctor. He's the team's doctor. And at the end of the day, he works for the team and not for you. But for Coach McConnell to catch it and when the team actually caught it when they did, sometimes you got to go ahead and tip your hat. They did really well assessing the problem, getting after it, and then, trying to go ahead and get it diagnosed. And I mean, it's like, okay, so now they got Sam Darnold, and he's got to be the starter right now just for a couple of weeks until you can hide him. Well, you can kind of rehab JJ and get him back out there on the field. But Purple People Eaters, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about your number one draft pick already having knee surgery before the season? Let me know. Let me know how you feel about your number one draft pick having knee surgery.